meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to the April 11th, 2023 regular scheduled council meeting in the Linda Hartbauer Chambers. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Lord's Prayer and a moment of silence for those protecting and serving our country. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lord in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, forever. Amen.
Thank you. Maybe some. Clerk, please call the roll. Oh, sorry.
A little choking.
Beth Gilman.
Present.
Margaret Phillip.
Present.
Richard Morgan.
Excused.
Kelly Gangle.
Excused.
Pat Mobus. Here. Jerry Trolley.
Present.
Kathy King.
Here. Thank you. Council, you previously received the March 28, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Madam Chairman, I move to approve the minutes from the 28th of March.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Madam President, I'm second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Crowley to approve the March 28, 2023 regular meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries and minutes are approved. The chair notes that certification has been made regarding compliance with the rules and notifications of this meeting. We have no guest presentation, no public comments. We went to executive officers' reports. The Easter egg hunt was very, very nice. I'd like to thank Ms. Osheimer for all that she did and all the volunteers. Everyone was excited to see the Easter Bunny. It was really a nice thing. So, and just a reminder to do your ethics paperwork and your sunshine law training. And that's all I have to see. I'll give Mayor some of my time. Mayor's report.
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. It's good to see your smiling
Welcome
faces
back.
again. Thank you. Thank you. Had an amazing trip, and amazing just isn't the right word, but we'll talk about that at another time. I too would like to extend the gratitude to Mrs. Osheimer for all of her efforts for the Easter egg hunt. Thank the members of council that were in attendance, the supervisors, and of course the first responders who got the Easter Bunny to the event and in a timely fashion. Several hundred kids had a grand old time. Folks, just a quick update on our EV charging stations. As you know, Mr. Colson and I have been working with a third-party company. We've identified some locations, have been trying to find some grant dollars to bring EV charging stations into some public spaces. Our first attempt at that was unfortunately not successful, but we've identified some other avenues of potential funding sources and are working with the third-party company as well as some others to try to get those dollars here into town so we can put EV charging stations throughout the community. A couple of questions I've had, and I know I'm sure you all have had these questions as well. What's going on with the railroad viaduct at 3rd and Madison Street? A few weeks ago, it was discovered that some of the rocks and concrete were falling from that viaduct, and there are some catchers, if you will, for lack of a better term, middle roof, and landing on that middle roof. The railroad company has been advised. Kent Johnson, Luke Johnson, and some others met with a railroad representative. They also had some other folks out later to do an evaluation. Until we get the official okey-dokey from the railroad company, Mr. Colson and I have talked about this extensively, we just don't feel comfortable opening up that walkway. And I know that causes some issues, people walking into the street. It's kind of a catch-22. You open it and someone gets hit, or you keep it closed and someone gets hit. So if anybody has any other suggestions, call Mr. Colston. and we'll be happy to discuss those. But it's just difficult until we get assurance that they're going to come in and fix them, or at least remove what's up there, or an assurance that the weight that's on there now from the material that's fallen won't collapse those things that are already there.
Mr. Mayor, can
Yes.
I interject something here? And I don't know if it's worth looking into, but what about coning off a walkway on each side?
We talked about that. We've got some ADA issues that need to be worked on, but that was something talked about earlier today in the mud, if you will, with some pavers.
Or in the street,
Yeah. Okay.
would be a little bit better.
I don't think you could do it in the street with people coming off Third Street making that turn, Jerry.
Yeah, you're
That's the
right.
problem that I have. That's my fear from that area there.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No? Okay. May I continue? No.
He asked permission, you could have said no.
Just an update on the forward-looking infrastructure project. As far as the city goes, we are ready to go. We would like to get the bids out there. You may recall in this whole funding process, Mr. Beal has been working diligently to find short-term lenders to get us from bids to shovel in the ground to completion. And then at the end of the multiple phases, above ground, below ground, A and B and all that fun stuff, the U.S. Department of Agriculture will come in and give us a blanket loan on everything. But that blanket loan doesn't come until the projects are done. And in this whole process, we found out late in the game that the USDA needs to review everything, including our bidding process. So they're in the process right now of reviewing the below ground portion. We've just received word that they're reviewing the above ground portion of what we need to do. We anticipate in another 2 to 3 weeks we'll be able to advertise for bid, which will take a 3-week process, another month to get things started. So again, if we had this conversation, we did have this conversation a couple months ago. We thought right now we'd be ready, you know, everybody be excited to put shovels in the ground. We're probably looking at late June or July. And I base that 2-week estimate that they'll have the review solely on, that's how long it took them to review the below ground stuff, and they just recently started the above ground stuff. So that's where we stand. Again, the light at the end of the tunnel of this thing getting started is bigger and brighter, but we're not at the end of the tunnel yet. And it's disappointing to me, and I know it's disappointing to everybody, but we're there. We're so much farther ahead than we were several years ago, and that's the exciting part about all this. The second most thing I've been asked is what's happening with Mom? Is that happening this year? Yes, it is, with a few corrections or changes or improvements, however you want to talk about that. Mom is going to be called the district as opposed to Mom. That was one of the things that came out of some meetings and discussions. The city has stepped back and is taking a less active role. Mom, or the district, is now officially a Main Street operation, like the Walleye Festival, like other activities in town. The city's role in this is just simply a support role. We're not in the planning or operations process of this whole thing. Madison Street, the traditional area, will be blocked off starting the week of May 15th. There will be one weekend where there's no scheduled entertainment, and then the following weekend is Memorial Day weekend with a full slate of entertainment. Now I say that weekend, that gap weekend is there. I am hearing some rumors or discussions or whatnot that a few of the establishments downtown are pitching their resources to put entertainment at Mom for that first weekend, but I don't have any details on that. So keep an eye out for that. And if I could jump back a moment to the flip discussion, because Mr. Colson pointed out I missed something on my minutes here. You'll see a lot of flags around town, yard flags. I know there was a discussion in an email, you know, these flags, there's something called OOPS, Ohio Utilities Protection Service, and you've seen the commercials on television where if you're going to dig, you call OOPS, they come out and mark where the underground utility lines are. In the 10th, 11th Street area, you see a lot of those because there's Columbia Gas doing some work in those neighborhoods. As we get into this forward-looking infrastructure project, you're going to see those suckers all over town. Many different colors, many different shades, and many different reasons. But the one primary reason that they're there is to identify what's below ground. So when these trucks come in, they don't dig through a sewer line, or God forbid they hit a high voltage power line that's buried. I'm asking council to help spread the word that as these flags start to appear, please don't move them or remove them, because if they are removed from a parcel of land and there's a an issue down the road, i.e. someone digs through a sewer line or gets electrocuted because they hit a power line, that falls back to the property owner. So if you have to mow, pull them out, get them back to very, very close to where they were. None of them are exact because nobody really knows, you know, by the inch where things are underground, but they're there for a reason. So please keep that in mind and spread that word. Moving on from that, mark your calendars, council. This Saturday, April 15th, Wreaths Across America is having an event at the Elks Lodge. It's a chicken barbecue starting at 5 p.m. until they're sold out. $15 per chicken dinner. They will also be having raffles, silent auction, and entertainment at the Elks Lodge. Again, that runs from 5 p.m. until they're sold out of the chicken. I believe the entertainment and raffles run until 9. April 22nd, the following Saturday, several big things are happening in the city. That's the citywide cleanup. That'll run from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. Contact City Hall for a list of prohibited items. Again, you'll have to have a city ID, ID showing your address in the city in order to dispose of items. Also on that day, the Masons here in town, the Port Clinton Masons organization is having an open house and a breakfast with the proceeds to benefit the 4th of July celebration. It's a free will offering on that breakfast, and the breakfast will run from 8 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. And as a side note to council, I sent a text message out to everyone. They are in need of some additional helping hands in the kitchen and out in the dining area. 2 shifts, 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and then 9:30 to noon. If you're available, please shoot me a text and we'll mark you down. I don't know exactly what you're going to be doing. I know you won't be cooking. They've got that covered. Not that you aren't good cooks, but they've got that portion covered. Again, all that stuff is happening on the 22nd. And one really cool thing that's happening on the 22nd, forgive me, I'm going to butcher his name, Tyler Rodriguez Hayhill. He's a senior at Port Clinton High School. He is earning his Eagle Scout badge on the 22nd at a ceremony at 11 a.m. at St. Thomas Episcopal Church. So congratulations to Tyler. Tyler organized and conducted the rehabilitation of the red kettles for the Salvation Army. They were in some rough shape. They had funds set aside to rehab those, and talking with the director of the local Salvation Army, it's a very expensive process to rehab those metal containers. So with his efforts, those funds were able to be put back into the community for community support. So congratulations to Tyler. Again, all that stuff was happening on the 22nd. 2 days later, on the 24th, the Rotary is having their annual pizza challenge, which is one of my favorite events of the year. That'll take place out at Gideon Owen from 4 until 7 p.m. And I neglected to put in my notes what the cost of that is. I'm hoping there's a Rotarian in the room that could fill me in on that if they know.
$13.
$13, very good. So again, that's the 24th, Monday the 24th out at Gideon Owen from 4 to 7. The docks are in, sure sign of spring. So look forward to all the boaters visiting Port Clinton and utilizing our public spaces. Yesterday, throughout the city of Port Clinton, brush pickup began. I think that doesn't say brush pickup, that says B. Brush is later. I just saw the P. We'll get back to brush pickup here in a moment. I'm out of sorts. It's been a couple weeks, guys. Forgive me. If you remember last fall, there was a crew out on our city beach to get the rocks and the construction debris and the old road, Perry Street, that was buried there. And they did a great job. More has appeared. Somehow the lake swallowed it up and spit it back out. So at the best available time, when the water is down and the contractor has free time and all things align appropriately, you'll see crews back out there to, again, remove that debris that has washed up on the traditional beach by the light. The restrooms, today the restrooms at City Park were opened up for the season. So again, it's 71 degrees outside, flowers are starting to bloom, and you can now flush at City Park. Portage Park restroom is always open throughout the entire winter. And we are working with the contractor on the restroom at Waterworks Park, excuse me, to try to coordinate a ribbon cutting with that new restroom as well as the walkway, working with the Chamber of Commerce, we're probably close to, if not a little bit after Memorial Day weekend before that restroom is going to be completed. But again, that's a wonderful addition down there. Yes, spring is here. I mentioned that a few moments ago. Brush pickup started throughout the city yesterday. They're going north and south, starting at the west end of the community, and will then do the east-west streets. They have gotten maybe a third to 40, 50% of the east-west streets, or no, excuse me, north-south streets. They'll make one more pass because we noticed earlier today in the drive around that some folks that have already had the brush picked up, people put brush back out there. I'm going to ask council's assistance in some of the pet peeves that happen every year. And folks, it's been several years now that these ordinances have been enacted. The warnings are no more. It's now time to ticket because we're so close to flip and all the things that I'm about to talk to lead to down the line. I already have noticed a few grass holes, the people that throw the grass clippings into the street. So if you see those, please take a picture of them. You can say northwest corner of walk and don't walk, or if you get the street address, send that to Sandy or the police department to get the law enforcement out there to rectify that situation. Likewise, spring also means living room lawns. Mr. Colston had one just down the street from his house the other day. Just remind your neighbors that that's a big no-no as well. And then garage sales. It's garage sale season. There was an ordinance passed back in 2014 related to registering garage sales. Council determined that there's only a certain amount of days throughout a calendar year that you can have garage sales. So again, call City Hall to register when you're having a garage or yard sale. PC Day at Fifth Third Field, that activity is happening again. It'll be on Sunday, August 20th, when the Mud Hens play the Omaha Storm Chasers at 4 p.m. You can contact the Mud Hens ticket office to get tickets. Make sure you mention you're from Port Clinton, 419-725-4367. Again, 419-725-4367. As you know, in the past couple of years, the Jet Express has also had an excursion. The Jet Express called the other day to make arrangements to dock their boat where they have the past couple of years, to learn that the dock is currently under construction. I'm not sure of a completion date on that. Kelly Freimark from the Jet is calling around to a few other spots to see if he can identify another dock close to the park. So stay tuned on the Jet Express. I'm sure it's going to happen. We just don't know where they're going to dock and so forth. But you can contact the Mud Hens nonetheless to get your tickets for that fun night. And Council, earlier today I received a letter from Mayor Wade Kapsakavich. Mayor Kapsakavich is the mayor of Toledo, Ohio, that fine community. And as part of their 4th of July celebration over in Toledo, on July 1st at the Glass Bowl at the University of Toledo, they're going to be holding the Italian Football League championship game. Now, as I read it, I'm thinking not football, but football, or we call soccer, but no, they actually play American-style football in Italy, and they've been doing it for 40-some years on a professional level. And this will be the first time that this professional championship game will take place outside of Italy, and of all places, they're playing it at the Glass Bowl. But there's a whole week's worth of celebrations leading up to that championship game, and as a matter of fact, on Sunday, June 25th, you're going to love this one, folks. On Sunday, June 25th, at the St. Francis High School football stadium, there is a mayoral punt, pass, and kick competition.
Oh, yes.
Tailgating begins at noon with the punt, pass, and kick competition at 2 p.m. And believe it or not, it's going to be broadcast live on BCSN, Buckeye Cable Sports Network. So if anyone is interested, and watching me make a complete idiot out of myself on the football field, mark your calendars for the Sunday the 25th of June. And finally,
What time was it?
2 o'clock for tailgating, or excuse me, noon for tailgating and 2 o'clock for the punt, pass, and kick competition. Food trucks, beverage tent, all that fun stuff. I understand is going to be down there. When I called to RSVP, they said there's about 15 or so mayors already signed up. Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan. So it should be. And in the letter, it said that medical personnel will be standing by. So I found that to be great. And finally tonight, I'd like to wish my daughter Haley a happy 29th birthday this coming Saturday the 15th. With that, Madam President, that is my report, unless anyone has any questions.
Does anyone on council have a question for the mayor?
No. What are you looking
Thank you. Move on to the auditor's report.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Well, I have one question. Will there be a ribbon cutting when the bathroom has a grand opening?
Yes.
Treasurer's report. Numbers.
As of today, April 11th, 2023, bed tax is at $20,642.04. Dock tax is at $6,267.32.
Thank you. Law Director.
Thank you, Madam President. While I was waiting for the mayor to finish his report, I thought I should update council on something that was going on in the city. So back in August of '22, Fulton Street Whiskey Run, they filed a petition for detachment. So this is on Fulton Street, behind 11th Street, behind the field. There is property that a portion of it, where the White House is, that's going to be torn down. That portion of property is in the city. The property adjacent to it is in Portage Township. I don't know, many of you probably know Rich Kokinda. He and others bought that property, and what they want to do is they want to set up a wetlands down on the far end, past that first field, after 11th Street, and when they were talking with the state, it wasn't good to have half in the city and half in Portage Township, so they filed a petition to detach that little piece over by where the White House is. And so just to give you an update on that, what they needed to do is they needed to split that large parcel into two parcels. So they've already done that. They've split the parcels. So from the line of where the field ends, where that drive comes in, that's where the split's taking place. And they requested the back end of that be detached. There are no, there wouldn't be any detriment to the city by doing that. It's just a piece of vacant farmland. And on April 7th, Terry Dunn is the attorney for Fulton Street Whiskey Run. We signed a joint judgment entry approving the split, since Rich Kokinda did everything that was needed to do in order to get the split. He came to planning, he went to the auditors, he got a new legal description, he did all of that. So that should hopefully within the next week or so be signed by the judge, and then that property will go into Portage Township. And nobody will probably even know because you can't really see where it is, but that will take place. So we'll lose a little piece of property, but speaking with Mr. Colson, we really had no need or use to keep it in the city. So that's that. Nothing else, Madam President. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question for the law director? Okay, move on to the supervisor's report. Mr. Colston.
I believe the mayor pretty much covered it this evening. Madam President, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to committee reports. Finance, Mrs. Owens?
There will be no meeting tonight.
Okay, thank you. Environment and Public Works, Mr. Troller.
Thank you, Madam President. We had a meeting tonight. It was very fulfilling as far as information goes. The beach fitters, people that are renting out the kayaks and such, moving forward for Mr. Colson's information. Contracts being worked on, and it's going to be a very interesting summer along the beach.
Okay.
But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Safety Services, Ms. Phillips.
Thank you, Madam President. We have nothing at the present time.
Okay. Economic and Community Development.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. Move on to correspondence. Under correspondence, we have the 2023 Ohio Municipal Guide that was previously emailed to all council. Do I have a motion to approve the correspondence as stated?
Make that motion, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Owens. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Troy, seconded by Ms. Hovis, to approve the correspondence as stated. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Correspondence are hereby approved. Move on to readings of ordinances and resolution. We have no third readings. Move on to second readings. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 10-23.
Ordinance number 10-23, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Safety and Service to enter into a concessions license at Waterworks Park with North Coast Beach Fitters.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 10-23 this evening?
Madam President, just for council's information, the Environmental and Public Works Committee discussed this, as I've said, with Mr. Colston, and we are 100% behind it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 10-23? Seeing none, ordinance 10-23 will move to its third reading at the next regularly scheduled council meeting on April 25th, 2023. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only, resolution 23-5.
Resolution number 23-5, a resolution to appropriate funds for the purpose of decoration of graves, conducting memorial services, and otherwise engaging in activities appropriate for the celebration of Memorial Day 2023.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to resolution 23-5? Seeing none, resolution 23-5 will move to its third reading at the next regular scheduled council meeting on April 25th, 2023. We have no first readings. We'll move on to business from the floor. Ms. Ellis. Mr. Crowley?
Yes, Madam President. For the 34th year, and I'd like to repeat that, the 34th year, Port Clinton is a Tree City USA member. On April 28th, Arbor Day will be celebrated at the Adams Street Park in the 100 block of Adams Street at 5:30 p.m. Thank you.
Ms. King?
I just want to say that the egg hunt was a lot of fun, and it was the first time I went, and I want to give kudos to
I want to thank you too.
Yeah.
Granddaughter had a wonderful time.
Yeah. And I mean, the older kids, 32 seconds. That's how long it took. I have it all in video. It was 32 seconds.
Because
Yeah.
I knew they could do it under a minute.
Yeah. It was 32 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Phillips?
Thank you, Madam President. I have nothing further to say today.
Thank you. Mrs. Gillen?
Thank you, Madam President. I noticed on the Shores and Island page, they are gearing up for the eclipse next year already, and they've got a calendar out tentatively with some of the area events. I know Port Clinton has some stuff in the works, so just keep your eyes out and spread that information when you see it. Also on the 22nd, there's a fundraiser at the Eagles from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. for a woman in Port Clinton. It's a great event to help her get through. She was injured severely in a domestic violence incident, and it'll help her cover some of her medical bills and expenses over the next couple of months. So just like to invite people to attend that. And nothing else, Madam President.
Thank you. Seeing no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam President, I move this August body adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Awesome.